Good morning, students. This is SRK Sivaramakrishna, Senior Faculty of Botany, Telangana Social Welfare Residential Educational Institution Societies, Gauli Doddi, IIT and Medical Preparation Academy. So, dear students, so we are all familiar with the somewhat vehicles. That means cars, scooters, and some other vehicles. So, the vehicles which are able to move from here and there, how the vehicles are moving from here and there. So, definitely they need some kind of energy. So, the energy is nothing but the electric energy. How that electric energy is obtained to the engines of that vehicles. Here, the electric energy which is derived from the some kind of fuels. The fuels which are nothing but the petrol and diesel like that. So, these fuels which undergoes combustion, during that combustion process somewhat energy is released, the energy is converted into the electricity is gained by the engines, so thereby they can be operated in some controlled conditions. So, which are non-living things, even though those are able to move from here and there. Here, I am a living thing. I am an example of living thing, isn't it? Do you have any doubt about me? I am a living thing. Why? Because I am talking with you, I am hearing you, I am walking here and there. So, I perform respiration, I have some irritability, that means response to external stimuli. I have some other kind of biological characteristics. So, all these biological characters I am performing. So, based on these biological activities, definitely you can understand I am a living thing like you. So, here to perform these biological functions, I too need some kind of food. That means the food is nothing but the fuel of me in order to perform my biological functions. Here, not only me, you and your pets also. Pets means like dog, birds, fishes, all kind of animals on the earth, they need some kind of food materials which act as the fuel in order to perform their biological functions. Right. Here, how we obtain the food materials? The food is obtained from the plants. The fuel which required by us in order to perform our biological functions, which is obtained from the plants. How the plants are able to prepare their food? The plants have the unique feature, have the unique phenomena, have the ability to perform a unique phenomena that is known as the photosynthesis. Right? So, by performing the photosynthesis, the plants, they can prepare food. Not only plants, some kind of prokaryotic bacteria like cyanobacteria, which are also able to perform the photosynthesis and produce the food materials. Right. So, here today I am going to discuss about the unique phenomena of plants, that is the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. How can we define the photosynthesis? The synthesis of food materials by the green plants, the synthesis of carbohydrates or sugars by the green plants in the presence of sunlight and utilization of chlorophyll and utilization of carbon dioxide and water is known as photosynthesis. Once again, I am repeating the definition of photosynthesis. The synthesis of carbohydrates or sugars by the green plants in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll pigment and utilization of carbon dioxide, CO2 and water. The importance of photosynthesis. What is the importance of photosynthesis? I already told you the entire food on the earth which is required by all kind of organisms which is derived from the photosynthesis which is performed by the plants. So, the food is obtained That is the importance of the photosynthesis. And also here the photosynthesis will produce oxygen for the respiration of aerobic organisms to release energy from their food. About the photosynthesis, photosynthesis is an anabolic, reductive and energonic process. You know that anabolism. What is anabolism? So basically we have to know what is metabolism. The sum total of all biochemical reactions which can be takes place in the body of living organisms together called the metabolism. Here the biochemical reactions may be constructive reactions or sometimes may be destructive reactions. All the constructive reactions together called the anabolism, whereas all the destructive reactions are together called the catabolism. Here the topic, the photosynthesis, it is one of the example of the anabolism. So right, in this anabolism what will be takes place? In anabolism, simple molecules together form the complex molecules. In photosynthesis, simple molecules like carbon dioxide, water together converted into complex molecule like sugars, glucose, C6H12O6, right. So that is anabolism. The next, coming to the photosynthesis, is a reductive process. Why it is called reductive phase means, in this process the carbon dioxide is reduced in the form of glucose or carbohydrate. So that is why the photosynthesis is a reductive process. The next, here the photosynthesis is also an endergonic process. Here endergonic process means the biochemical reactions which require somewhat external energy in order to take place. The external energy which is obtained from the light energy, that means from the sun. So that is why the photosynthesis is an endergonic process. The photosynthesis is anabolic, reductive and endergonic process. So here the photosynthesis is otherwise called physico-chemical process. That means somewhat physical processes and somewhat chemical processes together mixed and it can be happened. If we observe the physical processes, absorption of light, chloroplast electron transport system, that is ETS, generation of ATP and NADPHs, which are together called assimilatory power. So all these aspects come under the category physical process. The next, coming to the chemical processes, what are the chemical processes? Absorption of CO2 and conversion or reduction of CO2 into glucose, carbohydrate, is nothing but the chemical process, right. Here the entire photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis can be represented in a simple equation form. It was developed by C.B. Van Neyl. Photosynthetic equation. We are very familiar with this equation from our earlier studies. Photosynthetic equation. So this equation developed by C.B. Van Neyl, a scientist. So how can we write the entire process of photosynthesis in a simple equation form? 6CO2 plus 12H2O plus 12H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2 in the presence of sunlight and with the help of chlorophyll pigment. So this is the equation of entire process of photosynthesis. Here see carbon dioxide, water, so combined together and forms a complex molecule called the glucose or sugar, also known as the carbohydrate, and here water is also formed as byproduct, and oxygen is also forming oxygen as a byproduct. See here it is a simple equation, but it has somewhat competitive questions that can be asked on this equation. Here what is the ratio of carbon dioxide and water molecules consumed in the photosynthesis process, if at all asked like that, what is the ratio of carbon dioxide? So 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of H2O. So then the ratio is 1:2 like that. So here one more question, what chemical compound that can act as the substrate and also that can act as the product in the photosynthesis? Here the water itself acts as the substrate and also it can act as the product in this photosynthesis process. So here 6 CO2 molecules and 12 H2O molecules, they together involve in the one molecule of glucose, right? So sometimes maybe asked like that, in photosynthesis what is the ratio of consuming of carbon dioxide and liberation of oxygen? 6 molecules and 6 molecules. So then the ratio is 1:1 like that we can say. So students, you must care about this equation. So what are the substrates, what is the quantity of the molecules which are involving and which are the producing in the photosynthesis. The next, what is the site of photosynthesis? If at all we are asking the question about us, what we can say? All the green part in the plant is able to perform photosynthesis and produce carbohydrates. However, the chief photosynthetic part of the plants are the green leaves. Here the green color of the leaves is due to a green colored pigment that is known as the chlorophyll. What we call it is as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, that is a green colored pigment, green colored pigment, right? Here what we have to know, what is the location of this chlorophyll pigment, where it can be located, You have studied, you might studied the anatomy of leaf in your early classes. So the anatomy of leaf, what it shows? It shows a simple parenchymatous tissue that is known as the mesophyll tissue. Inside the leaf there is a parenchymatous tissue that is called mesophyll. The mesophyll tissue consists of cells which are known as mesophyll cell. The mesophyll cell consists of chloroplasts. What are the cell organelles? Chloroplasts, which are the chief cell organelles involved in the photosynthesis process. So chloroplasts consists of grana. Grana consists of thylakoids, which are sac-like structures, thylakoids. So the thylakoids, which consist of membranes, which are known as thylakoid membranes. The membranes, they consist of photosynthetic pigments like chlorophyll, and other photosynthetic pigments. Students, have you understand where the photosynthetic pigments which are located? Yes, in the leaf there is a parenchymatous tissue that is known as the mesophyll tissue. So the tissue consists of the cells which are known as the mesophyll cells. The mesophyll cells consist of chloroplasts, cellular organelles. The chloroplast consists of grana. Grana consists of thylakoids. Thylakoids consist of thylakoid membranes. The thylakoid membranes consist of photosynthetic pigments like chlorophyll, other photosynthetic pigments like xanthophylls, carotenoids, etc. Right. So if we observe the structure of a chloroplast, how it look like, please carefully listen this diagram. It is very essential to understand the concept which is coming in later. Right. So here the chloroplast is a double membrane bound cell organelle. the chloroplast is a double membrane cell organelle. Here it consists of two membranes like this. The two membranes we can call as outer membrane, and this is the inner membrane. In between these two membranes there is a space that is known as periplastidial space. Periplastidial space. Right. Here inside the chloroplast there is a viscous fluid material. The fluid material is known as the stroma, what we call as stroma. The viscous fluid material known as the stroma. In this stroma, several sac-like structures which are placed one above the other, and they together forms the grana. So these are the sac-like structures which are placed one above the other. This is sac-like structures. The group of sac-like structure together called the grana. Grana is the plural form, whereas the granum is the singular form. So like this, in this stroma, several grana are present. So these grana are interconnected with minute tube-like structures which are known as the stroma lamella. What we call them as stroma lamella. Lamellae are also known as fret membranes. Are also known as fret membranes. Here the sac-like structures, the group of sac-like structures which together called the grana, singular granum. Individual sac-like structures which are together called thylakoids. The thylakoid, if we take a thylakoid, how it look like? Here it is a disc-like structure. Have you observed in your tiffin centers, whenever the fresh puri which is lifted from the boiling oil, how it look like a balloon? So that means here it has two layers of wheat. So inside that puri there is a cavity or empty space that is known as the lumen. What we call that as lumen. Here it is the thylakoid membrane. Inside that thylakoid membrane there is a space. The space is known as the lumen. So here, along with this structure, the chloroplast is also consists of some kind of ribosomes. You know that prokaryotic ribosomes, which are 70S type of ribosomes. 70S ribosomes. And also it has its own DNA, circular DNA. So here it is the naked DNA like bacteria, prokaryotic DNA. Here this is the DNA. Because of presence of its circular DNA and 70S type of ribosomes, the cell organelle chloroplast that can able to duplicate themselves. Understood, students? So because of presence of DNA and presence of ribosomes, the chloroplast, that the cell organelle, it can be able to duplicate itself. So that is why it is known as the semi-autonomous cell organelle. So the next we are going to know the mechanism of photosynthesis. What is the mechanism behind the photosynthesis? We have to know. Here, if we observe the mechanism of photosynthesis, or it can be divided or it can be studied under two phases. The mechanism of photosynthesis involves two phases. Mechanism of photosynthesis. Right? So the presence of two phases in the photosynthesis was first reported by a scientist whose name is Blackman. He studied the photosynthesis in two phases. What are the two phases? That means dark phase are also called dark reaction, and another one is light phase or light reaction. Here dark phase is also known as Hill's reaction. What we call as Hill's reaction. Whereas the light phase is also known as Blackman's reaction. Right. So what is the difference between these two phases? Light phase, here the light phase is dependent on light. So that means the light phase, the differences between the dark phase and the light phase. What are the differences? The light phase is dependent on the light. That means it occurs only in the presence of light. So that means daytime. Whereas the light phase that occurs only that is independent of light. That means occurs both in a night and a morning. Right. Here the light phase here it occurs in the that means here it is dependent on light phase. Here it is dependent on light. Here dark phase it is not dependent on light, independent of light. So that means dark phase occurs both in a day and night time, but here light phase occurs only in the daytime. Light phase occurs in the grana of chloroplast, whereas the dark phase occurs in the stroma of chloroplast. Right. Here what will be occur in a dark phase? Dark phase, the fixation of carbon dioxide takes place. Right. Here what occurs in the light phase? Here in light phase the synthesis of assimilatory power ATP and NADPH will be takes place. Whereas here in dark phase the assimilatory power is consumed to fix the carbon dioxide into carbohydrates like C6H12O6. Right. So these are somewhat differences between the light phase and dark phases. The next coming to the what are pigments? So pigments are a kind of organic chemical compounds, coloring chemical compounds which are present in the membranes of thylakoid. They are able to absorb the light energy and they convert light energy into chemical energy in the form of ATP and NADPH. Right. How many pigments are involved in photosynthesis? The leaf pigments can be separated by a technique known as paper chromatography. If we observe the chromatogram of a chromatography of leaf extraction, we able to find out 4 different colors which are of 4 different pigments. So here what are the pigments, the different pigments, what are the 4 different pigments? That is chlorophyll A. It is blue green in color, whereas the second pigment is chlorophyll B, which is yellow green in color, whereas the third kind of pigments which are known as carotenoids, which are yellow to orange pigments, whereas the fourth kind of pigments which are known as xanthophylls, which are yellow colored pigments. Right. So these are the 4 different kinds of pigments we can see in the chromatogram when we perform a chromatography technique. Right. Here the chlorophyll A is known as the main pigment. It is the main pigment. It involves in the photosynthesis, whereas these 3 pigments which are together called accessory pigments. Accessory pigments. So in chromatogram, based on their colors, we can distinguish these 4 kinds of pigments. The next we are coming to the important concept, that is the light phase in the photosynthesis. Light phase in the photosynthesis. Here we have to know the concept of LHC. Concept of LHC. Concept of LHC. LHC means light harvesting complex. Light harvesting complex. In thylakoid membranes, different kinds of pigments that together assembled and forms light harvesting complexes. Each LHC is made up of hundreds of pigment molecules which are bound to the proteins. Each LHC consists of 2 parts. So here each LHC consists of 2 parts. What are the 2 parts means? Here antenna and reaction center. Antenna and reaction center. Here all the accessory pigments like chlorophyll B, C, D, E and xanthophylls and also carotenoids, they together form the antenna in the light harvesting complex, whereas a single chlorophyll A molecule, A molecule forms alone forms the reaction center. Students understood what is LHC, light harvesting complex, that help in the absorption of light energy, right? So what are the components of light harvesting complex? Antenna and reaction center. So moreover, where these light harvesting complexes are located? The light harvesting complexes are located in the membranes of thylakoid, right? Here each LHC consists of 2 parts, which are antenna and reaction center. Antenna, all the accessory pigments together forms the antenna, whereas a single chlorophyll A molecule alone forms the reaction center, right? Here in diagram we can see light harvesting complex. We can see the light harvesting complex. So I am also going to draw on the board. This is a single chlorophyll A molecule. The chlorophyll A molecule which are surrounded by some other photosynthetic pigments, embedded with some other photosynthetic pigments like accessory pigments. So carotenoids, xanthophylls, some other photosynthetic pigments. So here all these together called the antenna. So that means which are formed by the accessory pigments. Here there is a single chlorophyll A molecule. It alone forms the reaction center. Here this is the light. The light is present in the form of photons. So here the light is absorbing by the these accessory pigments, the pigments will transmit the light energy to the reaction center, so that the reaction center becomes excited, and it liberates electrons, the electrons which are carried by the primary electron acceptor, primary electron acceptor. So here it is the light harvesting complex. Here if we observe the functions of antenna, what are the functions? The antenna have two functions. One is absorption of radiant energy and transmitted to the reaction center, and another function of accessory pigments or antenna is protect the reaction center from the photo-oxidation effect or photo-bleaching effect, as this reaction center is oxygen sensitive. So these are the two functions of the antenna. One is transmitting the light energy to the reaction center and also protect the reaction center from the light. So here there are two types of LHCs if we observe based on the absorption maxima of light. LHC, there are two types of LHCs which are PS1 and PS2. PS1 and PS2. So how there are two kinds of LHCs means based on absorption maxima of light. So that means in which kind of wavelength. There are two kinds of LHCs, light harvesting complexes, that is PS1 and PS2. Here in PS1, the LHC that receives the reaction center of LHC in PS1 that receives the light energy at an wavelength 700 nanometers. The reaction center in this light harvesting complex will absorb the light at and wavelength is 700 nanometers. So that is why here this light harvesting complex generally known as P700. PS means photosystem 1, photosystem 2. So photosystem 1 in this light harvesting complex, the reaction center able to absorb the light at 700 nanometers. So that is why here it is called P700. So the next coming to the PS2. Here the PS2 that absorb the reaction center of PS2 that absorb light energy at 680 nanometers. So that is why this reaction center is generally known as P680. What we call P680. Right. One more thing. Here the PS1 is present in both membranes of grana and stroma lamella, but whereas the PS2 is present only in the grana of thylakoids, but it is absent in the lamella or fret membranes. We have to remember that, right? So PS1 is present in the membranes of both grana and stroma lamella, whereas PS2 only present in the thylakoid membranes, but it is absent in the membrane of stroma lamella. Right. So like this, there are two light harvesting complexes. The next coming to the chloroplast electron transport system. It is very, very important, students. So all that photosynthesis process is based on this electron transport system. You have to understand this electron transport system properly. The electron transport system of chloroplast was proposed by two scientists whose name is R. Hill and F. Bendall. R. Hill and F. Bendall. R. Hill and F. Bendall. They together postulated a scheme of electron transport system in the membrane of thylakoid with their famous electron transport system that is known as Z scheme. Z scheme of electron transport system. Right. This scheme provides only the basic information about electron transport and oxygen evolution, but it fails to explain the proton translocation, the process of ETS of chloroplast, and synthesis of ATP and NADPH during light phase are as follows. Please carefully observe. I am going to draw the complete electron transport system. It is very, very important. So many competitive questions which are based on this electron transport system. You haven't find like this type of electron transport system in any materials. I synthesized this electron transport system. Please carefully observe this electron transport system. So before that, I am going to draw that electron transport system. I would like to again repeat the different parts of the chloroplast. So here I already told you chloroplast is a double membrane bound cell organelle. In this chloroplast, sac-like structures are present which are called thylakoids. I already told you thylakoids. So here the viscous fluid material is stroma, and this is the thylakoid membrane. Here these two parts which together involve the electron transport system in the chloroplast. One is thylakoid membrane, another one is thylakoid lumen. Yes, thylakoid lumen. So these three parts together involves in the electron transport system. Right? I am going to divide these two parts in the in somewhat compartmental like that. Compartments. Here it is PS2 and this is PS1. Here it is pheophytin and this is OEC, oxygen evolving complex, and this is ferridoxin. Here there is another carrier protein that is known as plastocyanin, represented with the PC. Right. Here this is the PS2. In the PS2, the reaction center is chlorophyll A. Here it is P680. The reaction center is P680. Here it is PQH2. Here it is a cytochrome B6F complex, cytochrome B6 cytochrome F complex. Here also there is a reaction center in PS1, chlorophyll A. Here the reaction center is termed as P700. Right. Here these are LHC, light harvesting complex 2 antenna. LHC 2 antenna. Here it is LHC 1 antenna. Here it is LHC 1 antenna. Right. Here the electron transport system in the chloroplast that begins with the absorption of light energy by the PS2 at an wavelength of 680 nanometers. So thereby the reaction center becomes excited. In this excited state of reaction center, chlorophyll A, we are representing with the star. That means here in excited state. How much duration of excited state it can be present means that is 10 to the power of minus 9 seconds only. In this excited state, here it liberates 2 electrons. How many electrons? it liberates 2 electrons. The 2 electrons which are initially conveyed to a primary electron acceptor, which is known as the pheophytin, which is located toward the stroma side. Stroma, here it is the thylakoid membrane, and this is the lumen. This is the lumen part. So like this, there are 3 compartments, right? So pheophytin, here it is the primary electron acceptor in the PS2. It is associated with the PS2. It is located toward the stroma side. Here the pheophytin immediately donates the 2 electrons one by one towards the PQ, plastosemiquinone. PQ means plastosemiquinone. So one by one, 1 plus 1 electron. Here the PQ also derives protons from the stroma side. 1 proton for 1 electron plus 1 proton for 1 electrons. So like that, here by drawing protons, the PQH2, it is converted into PQH2, that is plastoquinol. Here the plastoquinol donates the 2 electrons into a iron-rich electron carrier known as cytochrome B6F complex. Here 2 electrons. So the cytochrome B6F complex again donate the 2 electrons to the plastocyanine. Here it is known as the mobile electron carrier. It carries the electrons between these 2 complexes, cytochrome B6F and photosystem 1. Here the PQH2 will liberate the protons into the lumen side. 1 proton for 1 electron plus 1 proton for 1 electron. So totally how many protons means 2 protons. Right. Here meanwhile the photosystem 1 is also operated. Here the antenna will absorb the light energy and it is transmitted to the reaction center, so that the reaction center is excited. So chlorophyll A with a star. Here it donates the electrons to an unnamed electron carrier, which is represented with the A. 2 electrons will be liberated. These 2 electrons will be donated to the ferridoxine. The ferridoxine, it in turn donates the electrons to the NADP. So 2 electrons plus 2 H plus. By receiving the electrons from the ferridoxine, NADP is converted into the NADPH, 1 molecule of NADPH. So this is an enzyme mediated process. That enzyme is known as FD-NADP oxidoreductase enzyme. Right. So here the 2 electrons which are conveyed to the from the PS to the pheophytin to PQ. PQ is converting into PQH2. PQH2 is donate the electrons to the cytochrome B6F complex. So from cytochrome B6F complex, the electrons will be donated to the photosystem 2, right? So here by losing the electrons, the photosystem 1 is in a oxidation state. Here it has to be reduced for the continuous process. So that is why here it draws the electrons from the PC. So there is no problem. But here it is also in oxidation state. Then how this reaction center will obtain the electrons? The reaction center will obtain the electrons from the water molecule, splitting of water molecule. By the splitting of water molecule, so the water molecule undergoes splitting. That is, the process is known as photolysis of water. Photolysis of water. In this process, the water molecule split up into 2H plus 2 electrons plus half O2 plus half O2. This process is known as photolysis of water. here the two electrons which are conveyed by the OEC complex, oxygen evolving complex, to the reaction center of PS2. So thereby here it is again reduced. So ultimately the electrons from the water molecules which are where it is passing means the electrons which are passing to the NADP plus. So NADP plus is converting into the NADPH plus H plus H plus. So here it is generally called as non-cyclic electron transport system. Why it is called non-cyclic electron transport system? By the splitting of water molecule, there are formation of two electrons. The electrons which are of water molecules, the electrons which are conveyed to the NADP plus. The electrons will not come again into the water molecule. So that is why here it is a non-cyclic electron transport system. Right. So here for the splitting of one water molecule, one NADPH molecule is forming. So the next here, how the ATP will be synthesized in association with the non-cyclic electron transport system. If we observe, when two electrons are passing in the electron transport system, two protons which are translocating from the stroma side to the lumen side. And also here there are two protons. Here totally 4 protons. 2 protons from the water molecule and 2 protons which are shifted from the stroma side to the lumen side. So totally 4 protons. Here ATP synthesis is associated with the chemiosmotic hypothesis that is proposed by the Peter Mitchell. For that he got a Nobel Prize also. What he is saying, right? So here when protons are accumulating in the lumen, there will be an establishment of a proton concentration gradient between the two regions, that means stroma and lumen. The protons will try to establish an equilibrium, that means the protons which are trying to move into the stroma. But here the membrane is that can act as the barrier. So the membrane does not help in a movement of protons. So within the membrane there is a complex that is known as ATP synthase, what we call as ATP synthase, or known as coupling factor, or also known as F0 F1 factor. Here this membrane protein that can help in the transportation of protons, 4 protons. So Peter Mitchell, what he says, when 2 protons, if those are able to transport through the ATP synthase, somewhat free energy is liberating. The free energy is sufficient to add one inorganic phosphate to ADP. 2 molecules of ADP plus 2 inorganic phosphate. So that 2 ATP will be synthesized. Understood, students? So totally 4 protons are there. What Peter Mitchell says, when 2 protons, if they are able to move into the stroma side from the lumen through the coupling factor or ATP synthase, so somewhat free energy is liberating here. The free energy is essential for the adding of inorganic phosphate to the ADP, adenosine diphosphate, so that here there will be synthesis of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So 2 molecules, so 2 ATP will be produced. So here it is altogether as a non-cyclic electron transport system. Here it is a Z scheme. Why? Because it if we are inverting this, it appears like a Z. Right? One uphill, one downhill, and again there is a uphill. So 2 uphill transports are there, one downhill transport are there. So ultimately what is the conclusion means, one water molecule will produce by undergoing oxidation 1 molecule of NADPH and 2 molecules of ATP. Here it is known as non-cyclic electron transport system. Understood, students? Here some competitive bits if we are discussing. So OEC complex, where it is located? OEC complex is where it is located. There are 4 options: stroma, thylakoid, lumen, or both thylakoid and lumen. What we can say? So OEC complex is present toward the lumen side. Photolysis of water, where it occurs, that is occurs in the lumen, but not stroma, but not thylakoid membrane. Understood? Here the, if at all the question plastocyanin, here it is mobile electron carrier. It transmit the electrons from cytochrome B6 plastocyanin 1, but not the PQ or photosystem 2. Thank you, students.